Welcome to the Grit Hoops podcast. On today's episode, we're going to discuss how do you create the best team situation and environment for your development and growth. Hope you enjoy this episode. Get ready to attack.
Welcome to the Grit Hoops podcast, powered by Grit Basketball, where passion meets performance. This is the show for players, coaches, and parents who are committed to real development, elite skills, and the mindset it takes to win. We break down the game, cut through the myths, and give you the tools to maximize potential on and off the court. If you're ready to put in the work and take your game to the next level, let's get to it.
Coach Carey here from Grit Basketball. Just want to send a quick message about Attack First Basketball that is coming to you guys very soon. It is going to be an app and an online platform for coaches, players, parents to track your development, your growth, your mindset. It is also going to help propel your growth because it's going to force you to be aggressive. It's going to force you to work. The Attack First Basketball is an ecosystem of things that we believe that can help you organize your development, from drills, a library of drills, to journaling, right? Journaling about your sleep, your nutrition, your hydration, journaling about your training and your game, your pregame, your postgame. And it has an app that is going to track so much of your development and give you feedback from our AI, Neo. And Neo's he's trained and developed and taught by us to give you feedback that is tangible and impactful to help continue your progress and to move the needle forward. Our goal is to try to continue to help as many players develop into next level players, whatever that next level is for you, right? If you're trying to be a varsity player, you're trying to be a college player, or your college player go into a professional player. We want to help you make those steps and continue to move the needle forward. We've done it countless of times. We have hundreds of players in college basketball. We have, I'll say, a good amount of players in professional. I don't know the exact number, but we have a good amount of players that we've trained that are playing professionally. And I am close with all of them, and they all give the feedback how much the mindset that we teach, how much the skill development that we teach has impacted their future. So now it's time for you to get access to this and look forward to delivering this product to you. So keep an eye out for Attack First Basketball, and more information will come on this very soon. When we're talking about finding a team or a situation that creates an environment for your development and growth to help propel you and move your development forward, we don't want to focus, number one, like I always say, on a team for development. Your development, primary development, and your growth is going to come outside of your teams. Unfortunately, why? Because for some reason in basketball, it is not a primary focus for coaches and teams to spend on your development. I know some people, this is the norm. They say, of course, right? It's supposed to spend X's and O's. But in many other sports, right, we can name from gymnastics to, I even think soccer does more skill development. Baseball, they break down by positions and do skill development. Wrestling. But basketball, literally 90% of the time, coaches will spend on X's and O's and schemes and different strategies and scouting reports and everything other than development. Hopefully that gets better. And I do truly believe that is the core foundational problem in basketball in America. I know overseas in some countries, they preference skill development more, and skill development's a primary focus. But at this current point in America, it is not a primary focus with your team. So unless you have a very special coach that knows how to teach these things from shooting to dribble moves, and they're spending time on it on a daily basis, unless you're in a really great situation like that, then you can't rely fully on your teams. Right, you have to focus on having outlets like after practice, before practice. Even if your team does spend time on that stuff, you have to put extra work in. Why? Because basketball is a heavily skilled game. All the best players are doing it. So for you to even keep up, you must have training and development outside of your team practices. You do want your team that you're on to continue to develop and lead your skill development in the right direction. All right. So if you do find a team that spends time on skills and development, hold on to that team. That's great. You're getting better on a daily basis. Even if you might not have a huge role, that might still be good if the team is really developing their players. Other than that, if you're on a team and there's certain things that the average person looks for that aren't the most important things when it comes to your individual development and growth and your future success within the sport. All right. So I've narrowed this down to four things you want to look for in a team that is going to help you progress and continue to grow forward into the player you want to be. All right. These four things, I want to preface them by saying these four things have nothing to do with how many championships the program has won, how many wins they win a year. Those things don't matter as much as people think when it comes to how much the team is going to help you develop and grow. Just because a team won a ton of championships doesn't mean it's the right fit for everyone. You can be not that level and you're just on a team and they keep you on the team and you're a bench player or whatever, and you're really not growing. You might be winning, but you're not developing. So there's things to look for outside of whether the team wins championships and wins games, right? That might be even more important for your development. All right. And the things I believe you want to look for, the four things are needed. Are you needed on the team? If you're on a team and you look around and you say, I'm not really needed on this team. This team has this guy, this girl, this guy, and this kid. My kid is just on the bench. They have no very small role. They're not needed on this team. That might be a glaring sign that you need to change the level or the team so that you're needed more, right? Because if you're needed more, now you get to do more, and that's going to help your growth, right? So you do want to be in an environment and in a situation where you're needed. Okay. If you're close to being needed, maybe you fight through, you continue getting better, and maybe you have a breakthrough, right? But if you realize you're not needed on that team and at that level, you need to reevaluate where you are and what you're looking for. Okay. The next thing is wanted. All right. I just had a great conversation with one of our players, and she is I'm not going to say her name, but she is about a 5'10" player. She could shoot the ball. She's sophomore in high school. She is, started training about a year and some months now, and has totally transformed herself as a player. But she's always, because she's 5'10", has always been demanded to play in the post, right? Because coaches aren't trying to develop her past that. They just see a big player and they just want to stick her in a post. So her development before coming to us it's been non-existent. But this player has the passion, the work ethic, and has taken their game to all new level. Handling the ball better, shooting threes. Are they a polished guard right now? No, right? But the player is an evolving guard and going to be a guard. Now, if a 5'10" player is strictly a post player, we all know that's going to limit you. At the best, you're going to be a Division III basketball player, right? And you're going to be, maybe an average or below average Division III basketball player. But if you have guard skills at 5'10", you could shoot threes, you can handle a bit. You're going to either be a very high level D3 player, a D2 or a D1 player, most likely. So on the girl side and the guy side, it applies. It's just taller heights, right? So if you are 6'5" and you are in a post, that's not good, right? You're limiting yourself. The problem most likely a D3 player if you excel in that position. And then if you are 6'5" point guard, and you can shoot the three, or you're a 6'7" player, you can shoot the three, you can handle, or 6'9" or 6'10", and you could do multiple skills, you're going to go way further. All right. And this is obvious. Obviously, there's always going to be people that disagree and say this coach doesn't know what's talking about. Coach Carey, you're crazy. You can't put a 6'10" guy shooting threes on the perimeter. I need to be inside. All right. You're always going to have that. Right. And that is, once again, in my opinion, lack of knowledge, lack of observing high level basketball. That being said, you want to be in a place where you're wanted, right? So, like I said, I brought up the story of one of our players who's a 5'10" girl, female. She's now developing her skills and wants to do more. Coach does not allow her to do anything on the perimeter for the most part. Sticks her inside, not allowed to shoot threes, not allowed to handle. The player's post game is okay, solid, has decent up and under, solid and finish with both hands decently, but is truly needs to develop way past that. So she's wanted, but not that much, right? To let her do things outside of that. And the coach has a very small vision of what she can be. So if you feel that type of situation where the coach kind of wants you, but forces you to not do that much or limit your growth, that obviously you're not wanted that much, right? You just wanted me because you're begging to run up and down and things like that. So you want to be somewhere where you're wanted, right? For number two. If you're not wanted and the person doesn't have an interest in your development, and you could feel that, right? It's hard to judge, but it's a feeling. The person doesn't have an interest in your development and growth and is empowering for you to do things that you're on the cusp of doing, then it may not be a great fit. Third thing, you want to be in an environment where it's a growth mindset, it's encouraging, and it builds confidence. There are many kids in situations where they're not ready, they're not good enough, they're not skilled enough. Their gameplay, and when they're playing in games, it's literally just hurting their confidence. And basically, because you're throwing someone into something they're not ready for. Your skill set is the number one thing that can correlate in your game success. So make sure that the player skill wise is ready. So that's the first step in being in an environment where it's going to build confidence, because they're going to be able to do things and handle the pressure that that level demands, right? So first step in building confidence is making sure you're developed enough to have success when you're in your games slash performances, right? You're in your game. A game is a performance. If you're not ready for the performance, if you have not put the work in, then you should not be in a performance. You should be in developmental mode. You should be in the gym training, so then you're ready for the games and for the performances. Okay. Um, you want to be in an environment that's encouraging. So if the coach is constantly yelling, berating the player, I know this is traditional style of coaching basketball. Once again, not sure why. And we all know famous coaches probably in the past that has made this the norm, right? They think good coaching is just yelling, screaming, pulling people out when they make a mistake. But if we all think about that as coaches, parents, and players, we all know that that doesn't quite make sense. It doesn't make sense. Even when those coaches were players, they know if they got pulled out right when they make a mistake, they just got berated at, yelled at, or they just got, um, what's the word? They just got uh, code, like what is it? Remote. One of Coach Wade always calls it, when you remote control coach. So you're coaching the game, like telling them every single thing to do and trying to control the game as a coach on the sideline. Those things are things to look out for. You don't want someone that is not encouraging, not empowering, and not allowing players to make decisions and to grow. So that's another thing in this third one. And then a growth mindset, which we all know, which is a famous term now, coined by Carol Dweck, who's a professor at Stanford, and talked about how a growth mindset is the most important thing when it comes to success, right? And that's part of why we even call our company Grit, because we truly strongly believe in a growth mindset and the importance of grit. And grit is long term, is a long term vision, perseverance, and passion towards long term goals. Okay, so we know the importance of that. So if you have a coach and you're in an environment where they're not focused on long-term success of each individual player. And that's after the win, after high school, after college, right? And they should be thinking about the future of that player on each and every player. And while they're also playing in games and doing all the other things. So if you notice that there isn't a growth mindset and it's very fixed mindset, a fixed mindset might be they only focus on the next game. The emotions are very up and down, depending on results, right? Whether you win or lose a game, the coach is just maybe just off the wall, or your teammates are just really emotional and off the wall with a little adversity. That might not be the best environment for you. Okay, you want to be somewhere where it's more even keel. The team spirit is high, team morale is high. Whether they win or lose a game, they understand they're getting better and they're growing. Okay, and then the fourth thing, this one makes me think of another one of our players, who is a very high level guard, and the player actually transferred from their current high school, went to high level high school, and the demand and challenge uh, and how much the players needed on to do things went down, right? Kind of Gilbert Arenas talked about this with his son. And he said he had his son on two teams, right? He had his son on his regular high school team where he had to do a lot. He had to carry the team. He had to score. He had to drive. He had to make plays. Most importantly, he had to make mistakes and grow and learn, right? Sometimes if you're in an environment where the challenge and the demand is not on you as a player, right? You just sit on the wing, or you're just in the corner. You don't do much. You just do a couple catches, shoots. You never handle the ball. You never drive. But maybe you're in there, right? But the challenge and the demand required from you is very low, and the environment doesn't challenge you, then that's also something to consider when you're looking for somewhere to help you grow and develop as a player. So the four things that we have here is, are you needed? Right? The team actually needs you. If they don't need you at all, you look around and you're like, my kid is, I'm one of the worst people on the team right now. I need to get better, or I need to move down a level so I can be more needed. And that's number one. Okay. Are you wanted? Right? You might be needed, but sometimes coach may act a little funky, the assistant or the teammates. They may not like you for whatever reason, right? Sometimes I see this on the girls' side, right? A kid has a good game, and then the team stops passing to him. Right? We all seen it. They stop giving it to him because they don't want that person's success to happen. Right. So the players, each other, they should all want each other to be successful. Similar to NBA players are really good at this. And all these things. Professional players are really good at this. Right. You see that someone has a hot hand, the sideline is pumped, they're cheering for them, they're feeding the hot hand. Sometimes on lower levels you see the opposite. Right. And hopefully your coach supports you. And if your teammates do this, they nip it in the butt and say, "Hey, we pass our better players. When people are hot, we get them the ball." Things like that, right? Because sometimes the better player gets hated on because they're simply good. All right, and then number three, growth mindset, encouraging and confident building environment. You want to be in an environment that brings those three things, right? A growth mindset. They're thinking about the future development and growth of each player. It's encouraging. The coach is positive. They're not just yelling, screaming, berating the player, and they are, they're tough, but they're encouraging, right? They want the player to shoot. They want the player to get out their comfort zone and try things. They're not very restrictive, right? Restrictive language would be, don't settle for that. um, don't take your time all the time, right? There was always saying, right? Even if they say once in a while, that's okay. But if they're always saying, hold the ball, slow it down, um, don't force it, don't do this, don't do that, right? That at some point you hear that stuff enough, you stop trying things, right? So you want to hear the opposite. Hey, attack that. Hey, take that shot. You're open. Hey, let's go push the ball in transition. The opposite side of that language is really great because it forces your players to be aggressive. And one thing I tell you, aggressive players go far. Okay, aggressive, assertive players go far in the game and in life, right? Next thing, confident building environment. If you realize your player's not ready, or players, if you're not ready, even coaches, if you see a kid that's not ready for the level that they're at, I know if they're a paying customer, you're going to keep them on the roster, right? But if they're not ready, it's probably not helping them, right? So you need to get in the lab, work on your game, get better, or put yourself in an environment where it's building your confidence and not breaking down your confidence. Because if you're not ready, if and your skills aren't, you know, to a level where you can perform at a higher level or a moderate level, you're going to lose confidence and it's going to hurt your progress forward. Okay. So other things that can help you with confidence is an encouraging coach. Obviously, a coach that works on skills, because that's going to constantly keep you sharp. And just having that person on the sideline that supports you. Right. So that's something to look for. Right. And then fourth, like we said, is you want to have an environment that's challenging to you and it has a lot of demand, right? Sometimes playing with all the best players in the state isn't always the best idea because now you have no challenge. You have very little adversity. Okay. You want to be in the situations as much as you can, or at least a balance where you're the best player at times, and then maybe you're not the best player, you're third or fourth, right? You want to be in environments that challenge you and that you have to carry the team, and the team needs you to be successful. Okay, and then the demand is high. This also comes down to practice, right? And the practices, are they challenging? Is it, that is the positive about playing with really good players. And because the practices may be better, maybe you don't do as much in games, but you are growing in practice, guarding better players. So that could be helpful. I don't know if you're not working on your game. I don't know how much I can say that it's going to excel you and make you elite. For example, we've trained many college, now professional players, and I've seen them have teammates for 4 or 5 years, right, throughout middle school, high school, and their teammates aren't superstars just because they played with them all for some of them 4 to 8 years, right? Their teammates are regular average kids. Right. So sometimes people think just playing versus a WNBA or NBA player is going to make your kid that, but that's also not the case. Does it help you? Do you get takeaways? Yes. But it more comes down to the work that you're putting in individually. So don't get so caught up in who you're playing against and who you're guarding. More get focused on what work are you putting in to develop yourself. All right. Once again, hope this episode helps you figure out what team might be the best fit, especially going into the AAU season and coming out of your high school seasons. And for some of our players, even their high school teams, they're reevaluating, is it the right fit for me? Right? Some of them don't have a supportive coach or a program that's helping them move the needle forward. And they have high goals. And I know some coaches think kids shouldn't have individual goals, but I don't agree, right? Coaches have goals of winning a certain amount of games because they want to be successful. Players should have goals of developing and getting to the next level because they want to be successful. Everyone works together. So it's nothing wrong with having individual goals and pursuing your goals and trying to put yourself in the best situation for your future development. All right. So always remember, attack first.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Grit Hoops podcast. If you found value in today's conversation, be sure to subscribe or follow so you never miss an episode. Got questions or topics you want us to cover? Hit us up at gritbasketball.com/podcast or connect with us on social media. And remember, greatness isn't given, it's earned. Keep putting in the work, attack first, and we'll see you next time.